moving on to first in football, our guy Peter Schrager. Peter Schrager's a reporter. He's got real information. So when he puts out his mock draft, it's based on conversations he's had with high-powered people in the NFL. And in his latest mock draft for Fox Sports, he said that the Giants will trade up with the Cardinals to get the 4th overall pick and then draft Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Do you think the Giants would regret making this move?
Yeah, I mean, I do, because they regret making a move to get Daniel Jones when nobody else was going to draft him where they did. Look, it's a weird thing. You know, the J.J. McCarthy stock has been rising and rising and rising, and it tells you that the smoke that we have heard from a lot of NFL insiders, including Peter, is that the New York Giants are, have buyer's remorse. And rightfully so with Daniel Jones, more because of injury than anything else. Now he's got the torn ACL. Now he's got the crazy eyeballs. He's got the neck issues, a couple times in his career. But, at some point, how many executives with the Giants are all these insiders talking to, right? I assume there's one guy who's telling everybody, we like McCarthy. Now, that could be a smokescreen, because that's also their job to kind of use the insiders to get their agenda across. But Schrager's been doing it a long time, and obviously he's well-respected and doesn't just throw crap against the wall. He's also like one of those, underground secret wizard type guys who you got to be very careful around.
Like Harry Potter type?
Yeah, I think Schrager's like Harry Potter.
He's a wizard.
I'll tell you why. Because, the last 3 or 4 years, he's correctly predicted the Super Bowl opponents in August. That dude's a wizard. And if the wizard comes out and goes, I think they're going to move up to 4 and get J.J. McCarthy.
Trust the wizard.
Look, I learned a long time ago. Don't mess with wizards.
Don't mess with wizards.
No, or else you wind up, talking like a frog or something like that. So, look, there's been smoke around this for a month now. The fact that more people that, have insight to what the Giants might be thinking are continuing the narrative that they like J.J. McCarthy, we're almost going to accept this fact now. The problem with it, though, is that the Giants are not going to be the only team that tries to move up, right, to get their quarterback. There's a couple teams, the Denver Broncos
Vikings,
clearly want to get a quarterback. Minnesota needs to get a quarterback. Now, those teams aren't in as an advantageous spot as the Giants are because they pick 6. So they've got, the goods as far as draft capital to trade. But, the New York Giants, if they want to get to 4, it's got to be the 6 and what? And I'm assuming a second-round pick
make
into
sense
the
from
first.
the Cardinals' perspective. Let's imagine that they want a receiver in that spot, which is likely. You've got Harrison and Neighbors are like the 1 and 2 receivers.
Sure.
If you pick 4, you get Harrison and Neighbors. If you pick 6, you get Harrison and Neighbors.
Yeah, the only question there is what happens at 5. But you're guaranteed getting one of those 2.
Yeah.
And I would say, I forget who else said it, so I don't want to steal anyone else's content. But I read this somewhere, and I happen to agree with it. So I guess it's immaterial who originally said it because I agree with the principle of it. When if you're picking a wide receiver, this ain't complicated.
No.
Just, take Marvin Harrison Jr. And you've got a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
It was C.J. Stroud who said that.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
C.J. Stroud's right. There are certain things that don't need to be complicated.
Right.
If you're in the market for
don't be dumb.
a wide receiver, and again, you want to take Neighbor, fine, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is the guy, just take him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, to your point, Craig, sometimes the tape don't lie. What you see with your eyes is what you're getting, right? And at the end of the day, with J.J. McCarthy, you also got to understand, he played in a run-first offense.
But it was an NFL offense.
And it was an NFL offense. And Valley, he's a winner. He's an athlete. He is a leader. Give him all that. But when he gets to the next level, they're going to ask him to be a difference maker, like C.J. Stroud, and much like how Tua.
Well, I would say this, and I'm with you on that. And when we talk to guys like you who played the sport, the thing I respect the most is, you guys are attracted to guys who know how to win.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's an intangible that you can't find on a stat sheet. Well, how tall is he? How fast does he run? Does the guy win? And when you play major, college football, whether it's Big Ten or SEC, and you win, and that's all you do is win, that's an intangible that better show up somewhere on a piece of paper because I want that. I'd rather have a guy that's a little bit slower, maybe doesn't have just as strong an arm, but this guy wins.
Yeah.
And I'll always take the winner over the guy that might look a little bit better, might throw a little bit farther, because that guy doesn't know how to win. So I understand why people fall in love with J.J. McCarthy. And I think one of the knocks at him, which is not fair, was, a little bit of what you said, where it was a run-first offensive quorum, obviously, great line, blah, blah, blah. We all watched what Michigan did the last couple years, to be fair. Man. And in winning a national championship, that dude had to make plays. And he did every time Michigan needed a first down, a scoring drive in a tight game. The dude commanded an offense, made the right read, and made the right throw. I'm not saying he's going to be a great NFL player. I honestly don't know. The only guy I feel like is a lock is Caleb Williams. I do think he's a generational talent, but I understand why teams are falling in love with J.J. McCarthy.
Moving on, Craig.
Nothing to add. Look, and listen, hot under the collar. Look, that's what a leader does.
Slow motion throws, baby.
Slow motion throws.
That's what, I mean, I know
I've never seen you speechless before, Craig. I've never seen you speechless.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I've never been on OnlyFans.
Yep.
But if he had one, sign me up.
Would.
$9.95 is a good number for me. I'm all in, all in. Like, is he not the best slow motion passer?
I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's an absolute dive.
Woo! Spin it.
Oh, dude, just where, that was only where he could catch it.
That's Garrett Wilson right there with a bra on.
Yeah, the bras are tough. The bras are tough.
Like, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, is there another way to get this data besides him wearing a sports bra?
Is Garrett Wilson trying out for the WNBA? Like, what's going Like, dude's wearing a halter top.
Well, they get biometric data, like takes in your stuff. If I ran that company, I'd be like,
what is that?
Can we get this data without the
That
sports
wasn't
bra?
a training bra?
It looked like it.
It looked like a training bra to me. I'd have a tough time taking it off the back, though. I was never good at that. In any event, that's football porn to me. I can't get enough of that. My dudes playing in slow motion, one of them wearing a bra, one of them just looking smooth.
It looks great.
Tight spirals.
Drop it back.
I tell you what, if it don't work out in New York, Garrett Wilson could be in the lingerie football league in a minute.
But I will say this, Craig. You have contacts at the Jets, as do you, Willie. Like, they put out 2 throws from yesterday, and you know he threw the ball at least 150 times. Can you make some phone calls and get us more footage?
You want more?
I want more.
It's called a tease.
Yeah.
I don't want to be teased.
Well, maybe I should have used my phone to videotape it while I was there watching it. I guess that would have been a good idea for me.
There you go. Dropping dimes?
Yeah. And that's the New York Jets. Those are your Super Bowl champions.
We have some really interesting reports about Bill Belichick that came out yesterday. We spoke about some of them, but this one I find fascinating. Bill Belichick has reportedly told his confidants that he's interested in 3 coaching positions. They all just happen to be in the exact same division: the Cowboys, the Eagles, or the Giants. Now, if you are one of those head coaches, all 3 of which are sort of on the hot seat right now,
all of them,
how do you feel about the fact that Bill Belichick is on record being like, I'm going to steal your girl?
Well, first off, I mean, I told you this months ago, right? That he made sense in Philadelphia to replace Sirianni. He made sense in Dallas to replace Mike McCarthy. And he's still an advisor to the New York Giants. And he makes sense in New York. I've been saying it for months now, right? Here's the one thing. This is, again, a report according to a confidant. It wasn't like Bill Belichick came out yesterday and goes, I just want to make an announcement. I will take the year off. Not so willingly, and next year I will be in the NFC East. It's not how it worked, but it just makes sense. Like what you said is right. Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat, right? They haven't been to an NFC Championship game, and he's in the last year of his contract, so he'd be a coach that gets fired. Nick Sirianni, lucky to survive this offseason.
He doesn't know what he does.
And come back, and has no idea what his role is.
I'm just here.
Dom, what do I do now? Like that kind of stuff. And of course, in New York, Brian Daboll's had one great year, one bad year. So this is kind of the rubber year for him in showing the world that he is a legitimate head coach. Of those 3, Daboll's the least on the hot seat because he has gone to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And I think that a lot of Giant fans will give him a bit of a pass because there was they were bereft of talent last year and had backup quarterbacks playing and all that. But don't sleep on the reality that even though the Giants situation is the most secure of those 3 when it comes to the head coaching position, it's also the franchise Bill's the closest with. He is on a first-name speed dial basis with the Mara family. He advised them when it came to hiring Brian Daboll. So he talks to them on the regular. Now, the Dallas job may open up first, the Philly job may open up second, but relationship-wise, he is closest to the Giants, and I can't speak for Giant fans, but if you told Giant fans if this season went south or they didn't have a good year, which it'd be very hard to find them making the playoffs this year because they have no offense. If you told Giant fans, good news, we're bringing in Bill Belichick, they'd have a parade. Yes. Giant fans would sign up for that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And my gut is that so would Philly and so would Dallas. But I think the New York Giants, again, if they have a bad year this year, which a lot of us are predicting they will, Giant fans will start clamoring for the return of the prodigal son named Bill Belichick. That is on the table. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.